Hello everyone, how are you today? Let me know where you're watching from if you're joining in via Essential Stencils Facebook page or my I Restore Stuff Facebook page. We're cross-posting in those two places today. If you're watching the replay on Essential Stencil page, please comment the word replay and you'll go into the draw for a chance to win a gift card for Essential Stencil. But if you're watching right here live, stay right to the end. And we're doing a giveaway at the end. So for 3 lucky winners. Excuse me. All right, Martha's here and Cheryl's here. That's all we need. Let's get started. No, there's a few more people than that. But why don't you jump on? Let us know where you're watching from. Just going to make sure I can see the live happening here on the Facebook page so I can see some comments a little bit easier. Hi, Linda and Barb. How are you? Our weather right here in Australia is cooling down just a fraction. So we've had some hot days this summer, but we are cooling down here. So what's the weather like in your neck of the woods? I hope it's not too crazy. Jean's here from Colorado. I can see comments coming in now on the Facebook page on my laptop. So yes, if you're watching from my I Restore Stuff page, I upcycle furniture and home decor, and I sell a range of furniture paints here in Australia, in Brisbane. So I might be using some of those paints today, but most of our audience for Essential Stencil is from the USA because, let me just turn off these notifications just a moment, put my little do not disturb on because sometimes I get phone calls in the middle of my live, so there we go. Thank you so much, Tracy, for sprinkling. Yes, we love it when you share our lives out there. I'm going to be using a few different, sometimes I grab a whole bunch of things and just think, will I use those, won't I, on the live? So I'm just going to show you what I've got. Let's see if I use it, okay? I will use this one, Sweet Dreams. I think there was a few left of these. Gorgeous set. It's been around for a little while, but some of you newbies may not have this one. It's great for the nursery, a little Sweet Dreams. I'll open that in a second to go on a round that I've got here. Also, we've got some decorative tiles. We've got those here, about 6 different decorative tiles designs. And there is the words and numbers, which also has some gorgeous words on there, some letters, some numbers. That's going to be fun. And some hydrangeas, which are our transfers. Now, I've cut these all up, put them in a little Ziploc baggie because that's easier for me to keep a track of them all. And easier to just kind of get them in and out, but they do come in 2 lovely sheets worth. Thank you so much for sharing, everybody. I feel like I'm a little bit closer today. I've tried to get my new microphone stand ready to zoom it down, so hopefully we will be able to see a little bit closer today. But don't go anywhere because we're going to give away some $20 Essential Stencil gift cards at the end of our live. I've got a few crates here to do, one unpainted, one already painted. They're tiny. They sort of sit inside each other, not necessarily have to go together. You could use one for a different room than the other. And I've got this pencil holder that I thought I'd show you. I've just repainted it. I had painted it something a long time ago and I've decided let's go with the pink theme today. Why not? And then I've got this signboard, which you may recognize this stencil. I believe it was an add-on for one of the Stencil of the Club add-ons, and so if you are a club member you may have seen this one. It's a plaid stencil and I thought I'd reuse this. I just had it in my shop booth and it hasn't sold yet, and I thought I'm going to bring that out, add something here, and this is in fact what I'm going to add the Sweet Dreams stencil to today. So let's open that one up. And some of these are on sale, so I did go and I love to just go and check out the Essential Stencils sale page. And you've got that on the website. There's a little tab that says sale. And if you pop in my code, I Restore Stuff, you not only get the sale price, but you get an additional 10% off using my code. So there's that. Hi, Christy. Thanks for saying hello. And hi from Alberta. Diana's here. Marge is here. That's awesome. Thank you so much for watching today. Okay, I'm removing our stencils here in this Sweet Dreams pack. We've got, the one that I will be using is that one on the front, Sweet Dreams. Then we've got She is a Wildflower. So Essential Stencil had, when they brought these ones out, they also brought this one out for little girls, and then there's one, an adventure one for little boys. But you could use them for either, really, some of these sayings, like the Sweet Dreams one. This one, she leaves a little sparkle wherever she goes. There you go. That's cute, isn't it? So that would also go nicely. Let me see what would actually fit on my round. And you're going to ask me how large it is. I don't know. What do you reckon? It's about 12 inches? I don't know. It's just short of the width of my shoulders. So whatever that is, I don't know. But it's just a canvas that I actually bought at just a department store here that was $5 or something. And it had probably a mandala stencil on it. I painted it over it in this pink shade, and I did this little design here. So the stencil we'll be using, well, let's see if She's a Wildflower would fit on that size, I think. And the other one, She Leaves a Little Sprinkle, that would probably fit also, yes. But I think the one that will stand out the most is this one, Sweet Dreams, because it's nice and it sort of gives the round effect. So what I want to do is use a completely contrasting colour to the pinkish shades I've got in this checkered pattern. Oh, then we've got to decide, do we want it on the straight or on the diagonal of that pattern? I feel like it should be straight, just so it stands out a little more. So let's move the camera down and we'll get started on our project, see what else we can do. So this is called the Sweet Dreams pack. Move my little things over here and I'll zoom you down. Hold tight. Okay, so hopefully that's straight. It could be a little crooked. Let's just, whoop, this way. There we go. Hopefully we're all in the shot. You can see what we're doing here. So I want to use either a dark, like a black, or I would probably need to use a white would also stand out, or you could use like a shadow to create a pop of colour. I thought that I would go with, since we've got these pinkish tones, I'm wondering about this dark red, purpley colour. It's called Elderberry by Fusion Mineral Paint. Now, if you do want my Fusion link, I do have that in the description of the live, and you can get 10% off using my link there, or my code iRestoreStuff at the Fusion site. That is the colour Elderberry, and it's a winey kind of colour, deep, deep red, and I think that will stand out nicely on this pattern that I already have here. Penny, you said you've got this set and you don't think you've used it. Well, I hope you get inspired today to use it. It's great for a little nursery themed sign and things like that. So I'm going to choose probably a larger stencil today. If you are looking for the brushes, I've got the link for that for you also, and you can use my code on that too and get 10% off your anything at Essential Stencil. So that's the transfers and everything. They come in a pack of 4. This is the largest of the sizes. Oh, there's my little Olive puppy. Quiet. She just sees anything. She'll bark at a fly that might be wandering by. So sorry about that. I hope she doesn't cause too much distraction. What I do have here also is my offloading cardboard. I would tape this down, but quiet. Sorry, guys. Just going to quickly pop a little treat in her cage. She's in her little crate. I was thinking that that would, you know, she loves that as a little safe space, and I was thinking that that would make her calm down and be nice and quiet. All right, I would tape this off, but it could actually, it's only got this one little edge where I'm thinking it might, I could probably move that up a bit actually, so our moon is a little bit more centered. It does have these stars that want to come off the corner, so we'll see how this looks. Now, you could just do it on a plain background, obviously. Yeah, no, I didn't do the background today, so this was another live that I did. I had this sign, and as just a piece of decor, but I thought I could add to it today. So I've dipped my brush in this colour, wine colour, deep red purple, called Elderberry by Fusion, and I'm going to offload my brush. It is Melissa, she says it's a lovely colour. Now it's on a canvas, so this is a canvas. It is going to sort of dip in the middle a little bit. I'm offloading the brush onto the stencil, the canvas now, over the stencil, and I'm just using very carefully a swirling sort of a motion, and I'm going to hold my hand down here because I can see that that's sort of popping up as it dips down. And I want to probably do, I'm looking at the coverage of this elderberry. Some paint colours have a lot of pigment that they cause it to be a little bit more translucent. So what I do is I offload the majority of the paint. I've still got a pool of it here that I can grab up in a minute, and then I'm going to again offload that onto here. So I may need 2 coats on this one, and I'm hoping that this stands out nicely. But while it's drying, we can work on some other fun projects. So let me know, is anybody working on something, crafting as they watch? I love it when you guys come on and tell us, what are you doing? What are you working on right now? Some of you are in the craft room with your phone live to our demo here today. And some of you are, you've got your laptop open and you're watching that way. So welcome to everyone who's watching our live today. And if you're crafting right now, let us know. What are you working on if you'd love to share? Don't forget to join in the conversation here in the comments, because if you're on the Essential Stencil page, Facebook page, that's where we're going to be choosing our winners from at the end of our live today. So we love to know who's watching, where you're watching from, and Essential Stencil transfers and the stencils and the brushes and all of the good things ship USA wide shipping. So if you are here from the USA, these will come straight to your door. Don't forget to use the code there, I Restore Stuff, and you'll get 10% off anything that you purchase today or anytime. You can use that code anytime, not just today. All right, so I'm doing a bit of a swirly motion. Sandy said, I forgot I have this stencil. Yeah, see, that's why I like to pull out some of the older ones sometimes, because some people forgot that that they even have them, and there's other people who are new to Essential Stencil and have not seen a demo with these yet, and all of the stencils are really versatile. You can mix and match them with other things. So for example, I could use the moon and the stars and put a completely different saying here. Instead of sweet dreams, we could say something else. I don't know what else, but there are other stencils with other words on them that you could completely use on this. There's a little tiny star out there, don't want to miss that. Not sure how well the stars will turn out because the words are sort of slightly large and will cover over that pattern that I've got in the background, but the stars may get a bit lost in the pattern, but that's all the experimenting. You could use any patterned background and maybe make it even more subtle, your background pattern, so that your design stands out a little bit more. I'm just going to go over that again, but I may have to just let it dry first, because sometimes when we go over a second coat too soon, it can lift off the first coat. So let me just remove that stencil. Oh, that stands out just beautifully, I think. It's got just enough depth to that colour that it really stands out nicely. So there's our Sweet Dreams, just on a patterned background. You can use any patterned background. I'll just let you know, like I said before, this was a sign that I made ages ago. It's actually a stencil that's not available in the main stencil. It was in an add-on in the Stencil of the Month Club. So I don't know if they've still got the shop open there, but you could have a look there and see, if you are in the club. That's exclusive to club members. But like I said, you could use any patterned background for the similar idea of just using a subtle lighter tone and then using a big bold dark tone for the stencil over the top. Okay, so that's one little project. I may go over and do a second coat later on, but we'll leave that one for now. And that's on a canvas. So that was a canvas that I had there, and I had it in my shop for quite a while. It wasn't selling, so I thought, well, let me add some pizzazz to that. Now this is another little crate idea that I picked up in probably a dollar store type situation. I've painted this one in a nice rose pink, which is called Rose Water by Fusion Mineral Paint. So that's the colour there, Rose Water. and I thought instead of painting this one, I might stain it. So this one I'm going to stain, and I'm going to use their colour Woodwick to create a nice stain wash. Now to do that, all you have to do, yes, I've got the link, Jean, to my Fusion Mineral Paint affiliate link in the description of our live, but you'll have to use my code IRestoreStuff at that link to get your 10% off. I'm just going to pop that in the comments there so you can see that. All right, so that's our brown colour. We've got a little bit of, no, we've got no water in there. Let me just use my glass of water that I have to drink. And I'm just adding a bit of water there because what we're doing for a wash is just watering down some paint. And then, of course, when we've finished our entire project, we will probably have to, I didn't bring a brush. I'm going to have to use, let's see what I've got on this brush. I'm going to have to use a brush. Actually, I can use a cloth. Oh, what am I thinking? So instead of using the water, what you can do is use a really damp cloth and then add the stain onto it. And I'm just literally going to pop the paint onto that. And because the cloth is very wet, I've used a really wet cloth, it's going to water it down anyway. So watch as I put this across, and then it creates a beautiful wood stain. Making sure you can see that there. With just a watered down paint via the cloth. Olive, it's okay. Oh, that's still going. So I've still got quite a bit of that colour on there. You could do the insides as well if you wanted to. I might just grab a little bit more there. So I'm just wiping off the edge, and I've got still a lot of, let me see if I've got a bit darker on that side than this side, so I could add to that if I need to, and just add a bit more until you're happy with the resulting colour. I've got my camera zoomed in so much that I might be out of the shot in some instances, so I apologise for that if that's the case. Now you can do the insides as well. It's a little bit tricky while I'm trying to show you because, oh dear, of course, the post has arrived, and so, of course you've got to bark at the postman. Olive, quiet. So we're just rubbing that on with a little bit of water or a damp cloth. You can do this with a brush and water. I'm saying hello to Olive. I'm so sorry. This is such a tricky thing. I thought, oh yeah, why don't people just train their dogs to stop barking? Easier said than done, hey. Those of you who have dogs. She's protecting us. That's her thing. So, okay, so you can see the original colour is right there at the base. I'm just going to add a little bit more for that base. And we're literally just using a damp cloth, and you can use an applicator sponge if you like. I'm just using a Chuck's rag cloth. So there we've got, and then we can even do the base if you want to. And it doesn't really matter that it's going to be slightly different colour because who looks at the base of these anyway? But I do like to finish things off to be nice and neat and tidy. So, all right, so that's going to just dry a little minute while we go on with our next little thing. Oops. And I do have my hairdryer to dry it off properly if I need to. But let's see what else I had here. Oh, I do have another thing that I've got to, we put maybe some stencils on this, or maybe the hydrangeas I think I'm going to put on this. So I've put one coat on there. It could do with 2 coats of that rose watercolour. I do also have my, oh, Diana says I've got to do the inside corners at the bottom. I do, don't I? I'll have to do them after the live, but thanks for the reminder that is important to get those completely done. Now I've got this pencil holder that I've painted in that rosewater pink, and I didn't paint the base yet because I had painted the top and I didn't want to stand it upside down while the paint was wet. So I can do that now if I want, and I was going to also paint the insides of this just to give it a finished look, because right now that's an MDF finish on the inside, and I think it would look nicer if I did do a little bit more painting in there. Hi, Tammy. No worries, Donna. It doesn't matter that you're late. You can always catch the replay. Okay, so I'm going to use my Klingon P20 brush, which is an angled brush, all right? So I do have a link for that in my description of the live, I think, as well, if you want it. Or actually, I'll pop it in if you need to. Just ask for it later. But the reason they put these out is because it's so handy to get on the inside, which is where I couldn't get before with my ordinary brush. So now I can get that quite easily by using my angled brush. And so, whoops, I need a bit more paint on the brush. I should have wiped it off that side, not that side. There we go. So you can see that that's so much easier to get right on the inside of all those little craft pieces that that have those little nooks and crannies. I doing furniture painting, you often get desks that will have those little cubby holes that you want to paint on the inside, and so it's perfect for that. And yes, Diana, I'm getting those little corners right down there, just so they don't get missed. So I'm hoping that you can see that properly. As I paint inside there, we can just fit it so much easier. So if you're using an ordinary brush, you don't get that nice smooth painted finish on there. So this is a Klingon brush. I sell these here in Australia, so if you are watching on my page at I Restore Stuff and you are from Australia, you can get those in my online shop or at the shop at Camp Hill Antique Centre upstairs in Brisbane. And so that makes it so much easier to paint all those little areas. But let me know if you do want that. I've got an affiliate link there that would be lovely if you used. Thank you so much for supporting us as ambassadors and crafters in our little biz. And of course I did paint the bottom of that, so you'll see it looks a little bit like it's drying on the bottom, but that is so much easier to get around all those edges. And I could actually add another coat to the outside of this, which I think I will do really quickly right now, because I did have some other designs on there. And again, we can just use the same brush to save us dirtying another one, I suppose. Fusion Mineral Paint Colour Rosewater this is. And I do have a 10% off affiliate link for the Fusion Mineral Paint. If you use my code IRestoreStuff at that link, you'll also get 10% off. I'm excited to be able to offer that now. I wasn't able to offer a discount before, but that's amazing. Okay, so, this is going to be tricky to hold on to my little box. I have to use the corners to hold on. Yes, I can't remember what I stenciled on this. Years ago, I stenciled some seasonal mini tags or something or other. So let's see what we could stencil on the sides of this today. And one more. It's holding very... Well, there, see, I could see a little bit of a stencil shadow underneath, and we don't want to have any of the old... I did sand it back, so there's that. I sanded back. You could sand it back even further. That would probably be a better idea. I was short for time, so I just kind of scuff sanded it so that it would disappear a little bit more. There we go. So let's let that one dry. And if we need to, I'll hit it with the hairdryer later. So did we have any ideas? Oh yeah, so Judy says that's a pretty white. It probably does look white on the video or in the lighting, whatever is happening here. Probably should turn this light on a little bit more. But that's the colour Rosewater. So it is actually like, I'll try and show it in a certain light. It is actually a pink. It's a beautiful dusky pink. A bit different than their damask colour, but let me see if that light makes it any different or if it makes it any better. I'm not sure if it will, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to pop my brush in a plastic bag to stop it from drying out in case I want to do a second coat. All right, so let's do some hydrangea rub-on transfers on here. Vic says, best investment was your heat gun for drying. What a time saver. Yes, it is. So yeah, it's I've got the hydrangea little piece of cardboard that comes in the pack. So they come in a big sheet, but you get these two sheets of transfers with lots of beautiful different hydrangea designs there. Some of them have little flower buckets. There's an empty flower bucket here. You can make your own arrangement. You feel like a little florist using these sometimes. Okay, so this one looks a little big for what I want to use it for. I was hoping that these pinks and purples would go with my little pink and purple arrangement. See, there's one with a little flower pot, not a flower box, I guess. So let's see, we've got all sorts of little designs on here. All we need is a bit of a tool, you could even use a store credit card, and you can layer the hydrangeas, you can layer the flowers on there as well. So these ones seem to fit nicely, so let's go ahead with these. What a cute little dish. What can you imagine putting in that? What would you use it for? You could use it in the bathroom, or it could be like a little jewellery box that sits beside the bed or something like that. And I'm going to make my hydrangea flower. I think I'll just make it turn the corner over here. So let me just rub that down. And it is quite a fairly rough surface because I've actually painted the Fusion Mineral Paint on raw wood. And you can actually, sand that off if you wanted to a little bit, but I think, yeah, it's going to stick really well to this. So the transfers do actually stick pretty well to the Fusion paint. But you don't have to use the Fusion paint. You can use any craft acrylic type water-based paint. I just prefer water-based paints because they're less messy in the cleanup. So we're just going a little bit gradually at a time to remove that top plastic backing off there. If you are unsure how to use the transfers and want more demos, just keep watching our lives every weekday, and you can check out the replays of all of our lives here on our Facebook page, on Essential Stencils Facebook page. So see how we've made that just turn the corner a fraction. Let's see what else we can fit on here. I've got a whole bunch of little, I've just cut them out for ease of, finding somewhere easy to just grab them out. So there's a bunch of little ones there. We could use those for the sides even. I think I like the idea of this one. So it's got two different ones together. You could cut those separately or keep them together. So once again, just removing the white backing and sticking it on the top. And if you think I'm making it look easy, it's because it actually is really easy. Super easy. So just rubbing the transfer all over there. And again, we're just going around the corner slightly on this one. And there we go, it's coming off just nicely. That little bit, if you see a little bit that's still left on the plastic, just lay it back down and go over it again with your rubbing tool. And once it's all off, then I always go over with my fingers and just do that. I haven't painted the bottom of this one, but it's got that lovely rose pink on the background there. And I will, I don't know whether to do some on the sides or not. Sometimes it's just, less is more, they say. Let's have a look. Some of these would possibly be a little bit large for, there we go, we've got that as well. We've got some extra leaves you can add. I want some sort of going the other way, or let's see, where can I, oh, there we go. There's a bunch down here. This one's all by itself. That one's even a little bit big for the edge, and it's the same colour. I'd like to mix and match my colours a little bit. Let's see what else we can do. We could make this one go this way, and then this one go this way. And that would work. I think it's just the right size. If it's not and goes over the edge ever so slightly, I won't worry too much. We want the green on it, so probably, if anything, I'm going to allow just a slight overlap on that pink there. We could even make it go, we could even make it go on the top edge, you know, so you can layer the transfers and you can also stencil over the top of the transfers. They are so easy to use, Tracy, absolutely. And it really adds to your different craft ideas that you might be painting. If you're sign making, or even I've used these on furniture, beautiful on furniture. I'm going to come back this way because I want to finish up with making this little bit go over the edge here. And I'll just use my thumbnail to make sure that sits over the top of the edge. And there we go, all finished. See this one? You can hardly tell, but it's just snuck over the edge there. And then what was I going to use this guy? You could even add another one in the middle. But again, I don't like too much. Hello, Michelle. Thanks for saying hello. Oh, there's 2 Michelles in a row in my comments. I don't know if it turns up in your comments like that, but hello to both of you. Joining in the conversation, and yeah, stay tuned, guys, because at the end of our live we always do a giveaway, and 3 lucky winners will win $20 gift cards for Essential Stencil. And there we go, that was super easy to add. This little bit stuck on there, we'll just go over it again, removing the plastic top of the stencil. They stick so nicely to so many different things. We've done transfers on glass, we've done transfers on raw wood, we've done it on painted wood, we've done it on tins. So there's lots of different ideas. So see those gorgeous hydrangeas there, creating a nice look. And so I think, you know, even in the same room it could still work. All right, so let's pop those away and we'll have a look at our other stencils that I pulled out today. So yeah, if you have the transfer set, you may want to do the same thing and just cut them up and have them at the ready. And then I've got my little cardboard bit that I cut out, and it's a sandwich size Ziploc bag that I've just popped those into. Okay, so our wood crate that I have stained earlier, except for the little corners there, I'll get those later. I think that we'll add something to that, some kind of stencils. So I've got a couple of other options to choose from, and why don't I go for, I'll leave the numbers and words one, I'll go for the Mexican tiles, which we're calling decorative tiles on the website, decorative tiles. And let me just grab those out to see how you can use different patterns. Now it's a 6-pack of tiles, and you can use, I want to see someone who's used these on their actual tiles or on floor tiles or something like that. I think that would look amazing. Or even to use on a plain concreted floor to actually make a pattern on the floor of a boring garage concrete floor. Imagine that, or a patio floor or something like this. So there's so many different ideas that you can use these for. I'll just look through the designs with you. They're just all very beautiful classic tile designs. Let me just pop that aside and I'll put them on here. Look at that one. Beautiful. There's this one. Then there's that. Some gorgeous flourishes too, which you can tape off and single out for other little projects. There's so many different ideas you can do with those flourishes. You could, you know, leave the tiles off. You can just use the circle. But when you're doing it as a tile design, see how those corners go into the edges. They actually match up next to each other if you wanted to make them all in a patterned design. So I love the way that one does that. And again, look at that one here. So many different designs. We might just have to use all of them on the side of our crate right here. So let's start with this one. and I'll show you how we can sort of, you know, make two go across here, make a different design on the side. I know it's got the handle there and it's going to go off the edges, but we're just having fun creating patterns today. So I want to kind of put that in the center. You could just whack that right in the center there, but we'll try and make it so that we can add a little bit more on the sides here. What colors to use? Well, what was I thinking to use? Look, I like just the idea of doing a white on the sides of these tiles. Let me grab those here in front of me. Don't forget to use my code, I Restore Stuff. If you see anything here you're loving, grab that and let's see if I've got any left in my picket fence, which is Fusion's white color. May have just a little bit left down there to use. And I'll use this 3/4 inch brush. Whoop. It's drying out a bit down the bottom there because it's hardly any left in my pot. So I can use a bit of the damp cloth to kind of create a bit of moisture on there. I might have to just grab a different white because it's a bit too dried out. Oh, and now I've got way too much on my plate. Okay, so we offload our stencil. We could tape that down if we wanted to. I'm just trying to find the center of that here. So that's about centered this way. So we're leaving out some of those flourishes there, but I'm going to try and make it in the center here. I'm just eyeballing it, and I'm going to have to stand up. But you can, which way am I going? But you can definitely tape that down. In fact, let me just do that. I will do that. The Fusion paint, Sally, is acrylic-based paint, and it has a built-in top coat. So it's been great for furniture painting instead of using chalk paint or something which you have to have a sealer on top of, because chalk paint is a porous paint. So that's the main difference between the mineral paint and the chalk paints that people have been using. So there's, you know, it's optional to add a top coat to the Fusion. But what can you imagine using these tile stencils on? Or maybe you have used these already. And look, some of the stencils that I'm using today are in the sale items, and there's only a few left, so just check on that. I did have a look at this one, and I have a feeling it's one of these. I've just turned that around to make it easier for me. Hope you can still see that in the shot. Yeah, so just make sure, because grab it while you can, because I think there's only a few left of some of these that I'm showing today. There we go. And I'm just going to bend this around the corner slightly. I don't want to do the whole entire tile around the corner, or maybe because the other one's going to be coming up there too. So let's see how much I can get on there. We'll just make it sort of fade out a bit, I think, if that's a thing. Feather it out. She hears another dog barking. The crowd's going wild. Olive? Okay, so I can see that I've used a fair bit on my brush there, and I've got some little raised bits on the edges of my stencils, but at least it didn't bleed too much underneath. Now to put this on top of there, I'm not sure if I should do that just yet because it is still drying. So I might just not use the tape. I'll try and hold that in place. I don't want it too close to the stencil, but I don't want to leave a great big gap there. Look what I've done. Let's see, I've got a cloth here. And that's probably from having a little bit too much of the paint on my brush. Probably is not going to matter too much. But that just wiped off there. Let's see if I can do this without making messes. We'll see. Yes, they're 6x6, the stencils. So if you've got 6x6 tiles, perfect. Perfect for those. So I've rubbed off most of the paint off the edge of the brush, Offloaded, that's the word we use. Offloading the brush to get rid of most of the paint off your brush before you start stenciling is the best idea. Now you can use a whole lot less than I have used on this, and it'll give it a nice grungy sort of used, well-worn effect. So I might do that a little bit. I'll flip this around in a minute so I can do the other side. I'm getting paint on my fingers, we're getting paint everywhere. Okay, so turning this around so I can hold the other edge. So if you're doing this at home, you may want to use the painter's tape, but make sure this side's really completely dry before you do that. I'm going to get paint on my fingers because I've got to put the brush down on these areas. So in some ways you can just sort of pounce and wriggle so that it's not moving under the paint's not moving under the stencil so much. And again, I'm just going to do a little wriggle around those edges and feather that off. Let's see. Look at that. How cool does that look? I kind of like it. Now, I don't want to put that straight down either. So we will do this side, and by that time, we do have the hairdryer. We can have some help with that. So that's one tile. Oh, I was thinking I could use all 6 tiles, but no, that's not correct. We'll just have 4 edges. You could do the bottom a different color if you wanted to. So let's have some fun with something circular now, and I'll just add this. And of course, this is one that you can join up along all the edges. So we're just going to have some fun with the patterns today. These would even make great backgrounds as well for different ideas you might have for your backgrounds. I'm just going to put this straight in the middle, even though it's got a handle right here. It'll be fun to just see a bit of a circular effect on the side of our box. So maybe I should add it to the other side, I don't know. Or should I choose a different stencil? What do you think? Just holding it so steady, making sure we don't move it. But if you do move it, don't freak out. It's going to be okay. You can always just place it exactly where you left it. If you do feel it jiggle a little bit, just pause, realign it all up, and you'll be fine. And besides, some of these projects that we do that are just a little bit like, oh, you know, it's a bit rough, or it's no one's going to tell, you know. A lot of times they just see from a distance that pattern, and no one's going to like have a really zoomed in close-up look at it and go, hang on, that's not perfect. Because honestly, sometimes I think we overthink it a little bit ourselves when we get a bit perfectionist. So we've got that sort of blending over the edge there. We've got these 4 little corners of that design. I hope you like that. So this should be dry now, dry enough anyway to be able to do this side. And once this is all finished, because we've watered down that paint to make it a wash, it would be good to seal the whole project. So Fusion Mineral Paint is good to go as a, look, I think we could do this as well. Let me try this. We'll go in the middle and then add some stencil designs to the side. So this is another idea you could do. Yeah, Fusion Mineral Paint, it has a built-in top coat, but if you are using it watered down, you've sort of compromised that top coat ability. And so I would add a sealer to go over the top of your piece, especially if it's going to get well worn, and it just gives it a nice finish. Because also this was raw wood, and so when you add a paint or a water-based product to raw timber, it will raise the grain, so you'll sort of get little fibres of the grain, which makes it feel a bit rough, and so you can sand those down smoothly once your stain has all dried. But I would just use a really fine grit, like a 400 grit, something like that. Oh, see, I just moved that. I moved the whole stencil because I didn't have it taped down. So all I need to do is just put it back in exactly the place where I started. I'm going to flip that around, make sure it's still in the right place, and we'll go from there. Do you put a finish on your rub-on transfers? Donna is asking. It depends. Sometimes I do. It does give it a nice, good sealed finish for when you've got any decor that you're doing that especially is going to be, you know, brought in and off a table centerpiece or something like that. If it's a sign hanging on the wall, I don't know, you don't have to, but I still do. I feel like it just completes and finishes the sign and gives it a nice finish. So there's the design in the center. Then we can add, we could really add anything to the sides, but I'm just going to add this a bit to the sides. Okay. Holding on tight. Trying to do one-handed offloading. Ah. Yeah, so the fusion paint, you don't have to seal it, but if you're using the transfers and the stencils, sometimes it's a good idea just to seal your finished pieces to give them a nice finish. Whoops, a bit too much on the brush. Okay, so there's that end. So that joins quite nicely and finishes off that. So then we'll move this over to this side and do the same thing. It is actually a bit easier if I hold it from this angle and just kind of the distance there, do it around about the same. The Mylar stencils are a plastic that you can see through, so that's really handy, so you can sort of line them up. I think I've got them lined up. And away we go again. Probably had too much on my brush there, and every now and then I pounce and I go, ah, I could feel it, I've got too much on the brush. It's all good. That's when I just do a bit more wriggling with the brush, and then I'll go back over that wriggle and remove some of it if I can, that we may get some bits that are over the edge. Okay, nearly finished there. Lift that off, and then we've got a nice continuous pattern. So see how we did that? We started here and then went around the edges, and so that's how you would continue the pattern if you were using that tile on something else. And this one we did this and this, we did 2 there, so in effect we sort of did 3 here, 1, 2, 3, and we've done that one on that end. Let's have a look, what should we do on this one? We've got 3 left to choose from. Why don't we go with this nice little easy style that we can put in the center. I'm going to work on one side and then the other side, and got probably just enough white paint left on my brush offloading sheet here. Being very careful to hold it still and not move it. So we've got that little handle area in here, we don't need to stencil that. And I'm just doing sort of a wriggly motion. I hope that's close enough where you can see it today. I think I've been able to pull the camera down a little bit closer and tighter into a tighter shot where we can see the actions happening. I'm going to have to turn it around, make sure that doesn't move. And then we've got our little pencil holder that I'm going to do next, and we'll use the fun words and numbers pattern. I think that is also an item that's on sale today too. So any of these things, look them up on the links. You may find that they're on sale because I did go to the sale page and picked a few from there. So there's that one. We've done a few little projects today. So we've got that, and we've got our Sweet Dreams. If you missed that at the beginning, Sweet Dreams. And this is just a pencil box. I've painted the inside and the outside, and I'm going to use the words and numbers stencil set. So we've got 3-pack set. We've got numbers and letters. That's our instructions. Letters, and then we've also got some gorgeous word sayings. So cherish life, beauty, chic, joy, a whole bunch of fun words there. And I know that is definitely not going to fit on our stencil, on our box, is it? But we can still create some fun on the sides. It'll look sort of like it's going off the edge of the page. Yeah, Michelle says, I need to go to the sale page after. I know, right? So don't forget to use my code I Restore Stuff, and you'll save a further 10% off even those sale item prices. So let's continue with that. Thinking, do I do the white theme or do I go back to that red? That red actually stood out nicely. If you missed that earlier on the Sweet Dreams stencil, I used this lovely red. I'll put my white over this side and the red over this side. And I'll use this elderberry colour, so that's a fusion mineral paint colour. It's a nice purpley wine colour red, and perfect for stenciling on pink, which is a nice contrasting colour. Now this seems like it might have dried off a little bit. I'll just kind of wriggle that around on my offloading page. There we go. To loosen up those bristles again. I think they dried slightly from the other project that I did. Okay, so I do love this cherish life word up here, so I want to add that, make sure that's right on the edge there. So I'm making pieces go right to the edge. Imagine, just making sure it's not saying something weird. What does that say? Hope. I think we're going to miss, I might miss the E of hope, which would make it hop. That is tricky. Anyway, we'll just put it on here and hope that people hope for the best. Okay, so the C is slightly off here, but I'm just going to see what this looks like, okay? We'll see what it looks like. And I'm using only using a large brush because it already had paint on it from my Sweet Dreams stencil down there. But that's okay, it still covers, this stencil covers all of the, even though they're little tiny words, and I might use a little smaller brush to do this stencil ordinarily. But since I've got the paint on the brush, I'm just going to go ahead and use this. Okay, just holding that tight because I've got to take my fingers off that so I can do this bit. So I will turn that slightly around and just hold that here. And so it's like the words are going off the box. Now you could, if you wanted to, make those words go over the edge of the box like so. Let's take that off. Oh, isn't that cute? So that hope doesn't look crazy. I could move it and let it go around the corner. I don't know, how would that work? Let me see, just so that you know what you can do. So I put it on exactly where it was, and then let's see if I can just flip that carefully. Oh, did I do it? Let's see. And make that go around the corner. But then I've got this problem of I've got a gap on this side. How am I going to fill that? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what I can do. Okay. Okay, just making sure that brush, because it's a large brush, just making sure it doesn't come off this edge here and create a fun line, a funky line on the edge of my piece. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I think you probably think, who's thinking what I'm thinking? Let me see. Who's thinking what I'm thinking in the comments? What am I going to do with this gap here? Let me see if you can guess. The comments sometimes don't go fast enough. Okay, so we've got the words now going around the corner. So we've got imagine going around the corner. Yes. Now I've got a gap here. What am I going to do? Well, I did see that we haven't used some of these words. So why don't we see if we can try and fit those on here? But then that means I've got to tape off some bits. Not sure how that's going to work. Were you thinking the same thing? So I may just have to go all the way around. I was going to try some numbers and letters on this, but I think I'm just going to keep going with that pattern around the edge and see what happens. I don't know if I'll get to use, oh yeah, I could use it this time. Let's see, we'll use it this time. I'll use the grateful word down the bottom. Okay, are you with me? Yeah, I was going to turn it sideways, and then yeah, I realized I'd have to tape up a whole bunch of words, and some of the words join into the other words, so it's a little bit tricky to just do that. Oh dear, too much on the brush, Sharon. I could feel it. Anyone else do that? You can feel like, oh no, I've used a bit too much. So we're just going around the edge here. Now these ones I may not have put it close enough to the other stencils that I'm using. I'm holding that really tightly so I can get down to this bottom part and do this here, and then we're going to turn that again on its side and go around the edges. Okay. Oops. Yep, it doesn't look too bad. So now we look at this. Where was it? Oh, around about there. Here we go. Okay, so I'm shifting this, whoop, and we're going over the edge. Oh, just made it. I think I just made it to the edge where it says smile over here, so that'll be fun. Let's go. It's feeling a little bit tacky, the paint on the stencil, because I've got my fingers stuck to it. There we go. Adding a little bit more paint to the brush. This is the colour Elderberry by Fusion Mineral Paint. I don't know that I've used it before with the pinks, and this is the colour Rosewater, the underneath colour. It actually goes really nicely with the Rosewater as a, you know, a beautiful, I don't know, it looks kind of like a lovely piece that would go nicely in an office or a little girl's room. Being careful to just turn that around, and I've got, hopefully my paint isn't sticking to the bottom. I should dry this with the hairdryer each time, but I'm just trying to go fast this morning. We've got a few minutes left, and we are going to pick winners very soon from our live, so don't go anywhere. Okay, so we've done that around that edge, and then I just have one edge to finish. So we've got all three of these, just moving those words slightly around the side there again. And this one, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, because I might just have to whack it on the middle and hope for the best. Yeah, we're just going to place it, plonk it right in the middle. So it's not going to have any joining to anywhere really, is it? Could try. We could try for that. No, the smile is going that way, and this started at Beauty, so yeah. But this is the part that you could just face that to the back and no one's really going to see it. So you're not going to always see all four sides of a piece of decor, are you? So a little bit too much. Hopefully we just need that much. So don't go anywhere. We're about to pick some winners for our live today. And I love it that you guys have joined in the conversation here. I do love to go back afterwards and check your comments out. I'll see if anyone needs a link for anywhere later on today. I do have somewhere to go right after our live, unfortunately. So I'll be checking those at a later time. But do let me know, or do message me at my I Restore Stuff page on Facebook. You can find me at I Restore Stuff on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, and all of the rest. I've got lots of YouTube tutorials on both stenciling and furniture painting. So if you need any tips in that regard, happy to help you there. So there we go, gorgeous finished projects. I'll show you those while Essential Stencil is picking the winner for today. Let me have a look and see what we've got. Move these over, get this out of the way, and I'll try and lift up my camera here so we can see each other. Oops. Okay, a bit crooked. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'll hold up my stencil projects for today. And I've got all of the links to all the different stencils that I used today. So if you missed our beginning of our live, we did this Sweet Dreams. I didn't do the background. That was done previously on another live, which you can probably find somewhere on Essential Stencil. And then we worked on the hydrangeas. Anyway, it doesn't matter what order we worked on. We did some transfers with these gorgeous hydrangeas in that same pink colour, beautiful pinky colours. And then we added the decorative tiles, tried a few different designs on that, to the sides of this crate. Showed you a few different ways how you can use 2, or you can put it in the center and add to the sides. Okay, so go back and catch that one if you missed it. And then we used this one, the words and numbers stencil, which looks amazing. I love that red on that pink. So it's a purpley red called elderberry. So let me know if you didn't find my Fusion Mineral Paint affiliate link. You can get 10% off there using my code iRestoreStuff. And at Essential Stencil, don't forget, code iRestoreStuff. You'll save 10% on any of the items that you want to get there. So let me know if you can see the winners coming through. I don't see them just yet. But Essential Stencil will be picking winners tonight, any minute now maybe. I will see them. So let me know if you do see the winners. Make sure you say congratulations so that I know also. Judy says, I think I'm doing the hydrangea box. Yes, that was so cute, isn't it? Just a lovely pink or purple background. Maybe you've got a nice mauvey purple. You want it to sort of be a little bit contrasting to the actual hydrangeas there so you can see them properly. But yeah, what are you going to be working on? Anything else that inspired you today? Let me know in the comments. The small box is very cute, and there's the larger box. We did 2 different, completely different designs on those. I don't see the winners being announced, but I promise you, they will pick a winner and you will be tagged. And so don't worry about that. We will get you your stencil, no, gift card, yeah. Stencil gift card, $20 gift card to those who are watching. And if you are watching the live replay, comment the word replay and you get another chance to win. So that's on the Essential Stencil page right now. If you are watching in the cross post over to my iRestoreStuff page, thank you so much for watching. And if you're in Australia, you can grab some of these things off my website, iRestoreStuff.com. Alrighty, I don't see the winners, guys. So I'm going to have to go. But I will see you again next week. Where did you order the boxes from? I got the little crates from a dollar store over here in Australia. So it'll just be something, it's very light. It's like, it's not bamboo. I don't even know what it is. It's a very light balsa wood probably. They came in a set of 2 like this. So I don't know if you can find something similar, but I do have my Amazon link there has some great ideas for boxes and crates that I have found on Amazon if you wanted to have a look there. Congratulations to the winners. If you are there, I can't see your names, but I will see you again next week, next Thursday for another live DIY. So catch you then. Bye.